FBoy Island. Finally. I've been trying to get a lot of stuff done. We have a lot of selling sense that's coming your way very soon. So because of that, I wanted to take a little break here with FBoy Island. We're going to come back in with it. So FBoy Island, episode 6, whatever episode this is. So we end up doing Douchetank, famous Douchetank. And I mean, what I want to say is that some of these answers is ridiculous to me. And the one thing that pissed me off, and I've said this already plenty of times, that Daniela, it's been a minute. I can't remember anything right now, but I think it's Daniela or Danielle, whatever. She, or technically Nikki, asks the question of, what do you search when you are trying to, beat the meat by yourself? And he says, you know what? That's a really fair question, Nikki, but I actually don't believe in self-pleasure. And he says, rambles on about some bullshit I don't even know. And all the men, including me, are all just like, huh? I don't know. I know there are some men that don't like self-pleasuring themselves, but how many of those men do we see? Not very many. I'm going to say it's a small percentage. And yeah, this idiot says that he doesn't do that. And I'm like, okay, of all the men that we believe does not self-pleasure themselves, we think Jared is one, because I don't. But anyways, the problem that I had is that Daniela believes him. What? I can't, how, I'm sorry, if a man says to me, I don't self-pleasure because of the stupid reason he gave, I'd be like, oh no, you're an F-boy, goodbye, get out of here. Not on my dime, you know what I mean? I can't with her. Anyways, and then what else happened? We had, Vince doesn't remember Katie's cat's name. So there's that. He got dumped because of that. And the twins both asked F, Mary, Ghost, these 3 women. I can't remember which was which, but Katie's guy. I think, I don't remember which one that is. Elijah? EJ? Whichever one it is. He says, well, obviously I'm going to marry Katie. But then he can't really answer the other thing. So instead of saying the smart answer, which would be ghost Hallie, because your brother is talking to her, and F Daniela, he says the opposite. He says he will why am I saying F? He will fuck Hallie, but ghost Daniela. And I'm thinking, the fuck? Your social medias clearly show you like to share women, and maybe at the same time, I don't really know. So, what? So the up one is like, us down. You're screwing this up for us. He gets up. He's asked the same question, and he answers the right way, which would be marry Hallie, ghost Katie, F Daniela. I mean, he literally says, oh, I'll F Daniela, I'll F. The other one says, I'll F Hallie because my brother's talking to her, so I'm not going to marry her. No, then you ghost her, sir. Oh man, what a dummy. So, yeah, there's basically that. And then the bigger thing is Marco is asked, who do you think is an F-boy out of all of these men? He answers Mercedes, which, duh. But I still think even Jared is more of an F-boy than Mercedes is. And Mercedes loses his shit. He literally is like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And I'm thinking, okay, he justifies this by saying they're friends. And maybe you are friends. I don't know. But if you're trying to prove that you're not an F-boy, then maybe don't get hyped up and angry because someone calls you out on something. You actually look worse. But you're not to these women because they believe all the shit. But to me, you look worse. And guess what? Guess who else acted that way? Fucking Jared. And he is an F-boy. The only person who was a nice guy and acted bad was that one there, who basically told Hallie she's a gold digger. That's the only person who was a nice guy and acted badly. But he didn't even act necessarily badly, like acted like a fool. He just said some shit that was like questionable. But yeah, that's basically the douche ink. And it's kind of, oh no, there's more. Almost forgot. Katie has a conversation with her twin, and he just rambles and rambles about some shit that I don't even know what he said. But he's just rambling and rambling and rambling. And Katie finally says, "What do you know about me?" And he's like, "Oh, you're pretty." Like, that's basically like what he would say. And she's like, "Do I have siblings?" And he's like, "Do you?" And she rolls her eyes and is like, "You don't know shit about me. You clearly this guy is not asking questions about her, not getting to know her, none of those things." And she's like, "I basically just had a realization that the guy doesn't fucking know me." And after his conversation, he goes back to the guys and he's like, "Going home. Because I'm an idiot and I haven't even tried to think my way through the fact that I don't know shit about her." But that's not looking good for him. Okay, so then, each woman has their date. Hallie has her date with Mercedes. Katie has her date with Benedict. And Daniela, whatever, has her date with Christian, I believe is his name. Each date seemed to go pretty well, so let's move on. So now we're at the elimination night. We're at the quote-unquote cocktail hour. And everyone seems to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. Twin is trying to make things up with Katie. And, I think Mercedes talks to Hallie and, but enough of that. Let's get to the juicy part of this whole thing, which is my guy Keith decides he's going to talk to Hallie about the comment that was made by Mercedes, which was that they don't have a romantic connection, which was said during the Douchetank. And he says, I want to talk to her about that, because if that's true, then maybe I shouldn't be here situation. And he does ask her, she says, well, out of all my connections, our connection is the one that has least of a romantic connection, which I think we all kind of obviously see. And, he says, you know what, well, I feel like I need to tell you something. And he says that Mercedes made a comment, he didn't mention to whom, but he said that he made a comment to somebody where he said that out of all of the women in New York, Hallie is the best he could get, which is kind of not a compliment. So she's like, okay, well, I'm pissed off now. And she kind of see her go to production and be like, I can't do this shit no more. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm pissed. This is too much. And production's like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to talk to Mercedes. So she goes and she talks to Mercedes and tells him what she now knows. And he, of course, says it's a lie. He never said that. He's only been to New York once or some shit. Like, he talks some bullshit. And you can tell that she doesn't believe him. But at the same time, like, what do? You can't prove that this person is telling you the truth or not, right? Under the circumstances. But he goes back in as as Keith is saying, y'all can pretend like you didn't hear it as she's walking in. And Hallie says, okay, who said it? Or who heard him say it? And he's like, you really want me to tell you? She's like, yes, duh. And he says, one of the twins. I'm not sure which one. So the one twin that's inside there, EJ, I believe, says, oh, well, I don't recall him saying anything. And she says, you don't recall, or you actually didn't hear him say it. And he's like, I wasn't there. It wasn't me. When in doubt, pull Shaggy. Anyways, then she goes to the other twin, who's talking to Katie, actually. And he says, what? No, I never heard any comment about New York and all of that. Like, I don't know who's lying, but guaranteed at the end of the day, Mercedes is lying. And I want to know which twin it was that was there. I think at this point, can we send Mercedes and both the twins home? Because let's be very real here. Mercedes is an FBoy, has been an FBoy since day one. The twins, both FBoys. It's pretty freaking clear from their social media. And even in this episode. Enough's enough. Let's get rid of them. So, we leave commercial for commercial break. We come back from commercial break and we find out that the twin, I think it was EJ, made the whole thing fucking up. Because I guess he wanted to see if he could trap Keith, which was why. Anyway, we're heading into elimination and we're now narrowing things down to the bottom two men for each woman. So Daniela, her two is CJ and Danny. No surprise. I'm gonna throw it out there. Danny's not her type. I think it's pretty clear what her type is. And it's not Danny. And so anyways, for Hallie, her bottom two is Keith and EJ, Elijah. And then for Katie, it's Keem, the other twin, and Marco, finally. So basically, each woman, as we all know already, kind of puts their 2 cents as to why they're going to be sending each guy home. So for Daniela, it's, for Danny, it's because there isn't that romantic connection. She doesn't think that that's, really happening. And I'm thinking, you're not really letting it. And then we have, oh God, who was the other guy? Oh, CJ. She says they were on a good track and then they kind of fell off because of the social media. And he actually says that he'll delete his social media for her. Don't believe him. Anyways, Hallie basically says for Keith, obviously there's no romantic connection. And then when it comes to EJ, she's concerned that she's not getting the individual. She's getting the twin that she didn't ask for. And he kind of puts this story in about I'm a home man and, let me show you that if you let me stay and whatever. Then for Katie, kind of the same thing with Marco, that she doesn't feel like they're getting to where they need to be able to walk out of this together. And then with, Keem, she says that she doesn't clearly trust him, that she thinks that he is an FBoy by the words that he uses, and that she's not sure about it. So we'll see how this turns out. So basically, the men that are being eliminated is Daniela is eliminating Danny, no surprise. Hallie is eliminating Keith, again, no surprise. And Katie is eliminating Keem. Everyone's face is like, oh shit. because the twins are being separated. So, but that is how this shit goes. But who is an F-boy and who is a nice guy? So, Danny is a nice guy. And I'm not surprised. Because listen, I've talked about Danny quite a bit when he came back. And I talked about the fact that I really loved him. I really loved him in the second season, even though he was an F-boy. But I saw this thing in him that I'm like, I feel like you're only an F-boy because you've been scorned. And he did say that last season. So I felt like this guy has the potential to be a nice guy. I think, in all honesty, he would have changed his ways for the girl he was pursuing, the black girl from last season. I can't remember her name. And yeah, I think he would have gone the distance with her. I really do. So seeing him be a nice guy here is not surprising at all. I wish him the best. I really do. I don't mean that Sean Robinson style. I really wish him the best, and I hope he finds the person that he is looking for. Because I think he's a really, really nice guy. And then for our other two, Keith is an F-boy. But he does end this off by saying, but be careful. He's like, Mercedes is the biggest asshole here, and I've met a lot of assholes. So, yeah. And then Keem says he is an F-boy. Now, the thing with Keem saying he is an F-boy is kind of determining that AJ is also an F-boy. I would be surprised if he was a nice guy. So, but yeah, that's kind of that. At least we got rid of 2 F-boys this week. But that is it for this episode of F-Boy Island. Again, if you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to Facebook at Reality Tea Times, to Instagram and Threads at Reality Tea Times, to podcast X and Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. And you can email us at realityteatimes2@hotmail.com. And don't forget, we have a website, and that is at solo.to/realityteatimes2. But that is it for now. As always, F-boy, F, bye.